right, if I could have everybody's attention real quick. Awesome, thank you. I apologize, we're 2 minutes late, but we're going to get started now. I need to call the meeting to order, the June 13th school board meeting for Springdale Schools. We don't have a student of the month this month, so I'm going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would stand up and do that. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. All right, our first order of business today is to go over our board officers. We got to do this once a year, and this is that meeting. So, board, I would entertain a motion to move forward on that. It could be something as simple as we're going to leave everything the way it is, or however you want to word it.
Make a motion, we leave the officers for the 22-23 school year for the same as 23-24.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Omenby and a second by Mr. Emerson to leave the board as is for the upcoming school year. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to that? Awesome. Next thing is the agenda. Do we need to change anything on the agenda, or will it stand as is?
I don't believe we have anything to amend. The only thing that I regret that we didn't put on is to congratulate Ms. Cook for winning the board election this last month.
There we go. And convincingly.
Convincingly, yes.
That's right. So,
Who do you want?
And, Mr. Emerson, congratulations, you won too, but you didn't run against him, but
I still won.
somebody would
That'd have
have.
been bad if I
Still
lost.
got a lot of votes.
so.
I apologize, Mr. Emerson.
Okay, with those two minor changes, we'll go with the agenda that we have set before us, board.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mrs. Cook to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That brings us to the consent agenda. There are about 5 different items on the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions about any of those items? Anything we need to speak about? If not,
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
we have a motion by Mrs. Cook and a second by Mrs. Creek to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to those? All right, perfect. Dr. Cleveland.
Thank you. This is an exciting night for us. You know, we have academic opportunities at state championships and athletic, and tonight we had a pretty important spring. And I tell you, we had a lacrosse championship, even though it's club right now. I did speak to the AAA director the other day, and he said if we can get lacrosse to 40 teams across the state, they'll recognize it. And I know that that's important to do. But I'd like to introduce Coach Keith Fimple. Coach Keith Fimple is our new athletic director. It's his first real official piece of business here, and he's going to introduce some very important people this evening.
Welcome, by the way.
Welcome back. It's a lot easier this time than it was last time, I promise. All right. It is a great pleasure that I stand before you to introduce the remarkable state championship teams that we have here tonight that represent our community. These exceptional athletes and staffs have not only demonstrated their unwavering direct dedication and skill, but have also achieved the pinnacle of success of claiming victory at the highest level of competition within our state. Biggest thing is today is a celebration. Let's celebrate the triumphs of these extraordinary teams and acknowledge the countless hours of practice, the sacrifices made, and the challenges overcome on their journey to become state champions. They have displayed an unyielding spirit, fueled by passion, ambition, and an unrelenting desire to succeed. We'll start tonight with the Springdale United lacrosse team. If you would stand up for me. You'll be standing. I'm going to read some stuff about you. You guys can go ahead and have a seat because this is going to take just a minute. I don't want to have you up for long. We'll do it at the very end. The Springdale lacrosse is coached by Dave McDaniels, a 10-year Springdale resident who has grown the sport of lacrosse locally to over 200 players. Matter of fact, I just got to talk to him out in the lobby. Me and my son in Conway, we used to go to Hendricks to watch it just about every Saturday and Sunday. It's a treat to watch this sport because of the athletic ability, the maneuver, the hand-eye coordination that's involved with it. It is absolutely fun to watch. As far as the full season goes, Springdale lacrosse full season record was 17-2, having many victories over talented high school teams in Springfield, Republic, Memphis, Kansas City, and St. Louis. Some of these teams are currently playing for state championships in their conference at this time. They should all be done at that point. Springdale lacrosse finished their regular season with a 9-1 conference record as state champions of the Natural State Lacrosse League. They defeated Bentonville 9-7, who was a heavy early season favorite and back-to-back state champions. Well, we'll celebrate two teams tonight, but the most important thing is we beat Bentonville in both of them. Several of the juniors are already being heavily recruited by colleges in Arkansas and lacrosse, Missouri, Florida, and Kansas. A couple have already been offered scholarships to play lacrosse at the next level with no commitment yet, and some are full of travel to visit camps and colleges for further visibility for their players in Springdale lacrosse. Gentlemen, you'll stand up one more time. State champion, Springdale United lacrosse team. Baseball, 2023 6A state champions. Dustin Helmkamp and Steph have done a tremendous job this year. He's going to come up and speak, and he'll give you all the information as far as the season goes with that, and I'll come back and close it up. If the baseball team would please stand up real fast for me. Again.
Thanks, sir. Nice.
Hey, you can leave that with Mr. Hutchison.
Maybe
Oh, for Mr. Ramos? Yeah, we can get that to him.
First, I'd like to thank Dr. Cleveland, Miss Tischer, Dr. Smith, Miss Fink, Mr. Hayes, Miss Clay, the board, Coach Fimple, Coach Wood, Coach Barker. It's a phenomenal leadership team to work for, and the biggest thing, from my heart and my staff's heart, we thank you for allowing us the opportunity to work with these special young men, because that's what they are. They're special, not because of that right there, just who they are. But our season started 5-4. We were 5-4, and got swept by Northside, and that hadn't happened. I don't know if it's happened ever. And there were a lot of people outside of our deal doubting us a little bit, and all they did was go 23-2 to finish the year, and won 15 in a row to finish the year. And they had a remarkable run. It's a testament to them and their belief in one another. They really truly had each other's back. It was a phenomenal year as far as statistics. I mean, they had a 1.41 team ERA. Batting average of .304, and it was special to watch, especially the end of the year on that run of 15 in a row. Basically, we got beat by Fayetteville at home. The night before, we'd beat them pretty good, and the next night we got defeated, and they let us know about it, and we didn't like it. And I felt like, we didn't talk about it, but it just kind of felt like we didn't want that to happen again. And they didn't let it happen again. But not only on the field, but off the field, I mean, this 27-man roster had a cumulative GPA of 3.74. I mean, so they were impressive both on and off, high character men. My coaching staff is, I mean, in my opinion, second to none. That's Coach McGinnis, Coach Lloyd, Coach Upton, Coach Pruitt, Coach Cash. They do a phenomenal job. These are like their kids. And to be honest with you, in the spring, we spend more time with them than our own. So just thank you for having us. Thank you for recognizing us. I will say this right now, this team's ranked 20th in the country, and there's one more poll to come out, so they'll finish in the top 20 in America. So special team, special year. Thank you.
Do we have parents here from either of the state championship teams? Any parents here? We want to say congratulations to y'all. Thanks for everything y'all do too.
In conclusion, let us celebrate these state championship teams and their staff for their extraordinary achievement. They have left an unforgettable legacy and will forever be remembered as a shining example of what can be accomplished through resilience, passion, and commitment. Together, we can continue to create a community that embraces the spirit of competition, fosters a love for sports, and uplifts all who are dared to dream. Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
Group photo up there.
I think Mr. Jones probably wants to take you guys pictures.
Yes.
If that's all right.
On the steps out front, we'll do a lacrosse team photo, and then we'll also do a baseball team photo. So if you all make
run
your way, parents, you're welcome to go out as well.
Good job, guys.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Good. Good to see you. That cleared out the room.
Yes, it did.
Good job, guys.
Congratulations. All right. Good evening, Dr. Cleveland and School Board. It is my pleasure to recognize the Secondary Building Teachers of the Year and the Springdale District Teacher of the Year for 2023. You may have realized that we're doing this a little bit later than usual. And the reason for that is because with our new state government changing, the process changed just a little bit. And so the release of the application was delayed a couple months this year. And so typically we usually do this in April or May. As a result, unfortunately, there were a few winners who were not able to be here this evening due to vacation and other obligations. But we do have a house full of amazing teachers to recognize at this time. So just as a reminder, this year is Secondary Teacher of the Year, which in our district encompasses, for this purpose, the 4 middle schools, the 4 junior highs, and the 4 high schools. The teachers go through an application process, then voted on by a committee, and then the winner, the District Teacher of the Year, then goes on to compete to be named the Arkansas Teacher of the Year. And that process goes all throughout the first semester of the 23-24 school year. Okay, so our first recognition this evening is for J.O. Kelly Middle School. The J.O. Kelly Middle School Teacher of the Year is C.T. Erickson. C.T. Erickson is a science teacher at J.O. Kelly since 2020. When hired, C.T. began to work closely on creating a science curriculum that could be used school-wide. She also hosted 2 stargazing nights in partnership with NWA Space, welcomed multiple presenters throughout her classroom, and hosted an Arkansas Tech student teacher. In 21 and 22, she helped create and host a school-wide spooky science assembly in partnership with the University of Arkansas. In the meantime, in 2021, she graduated with a PhD in curriculum and instruction from the University of Arkansas. Throughout her time at J.O. Kelly, she has hosted interns and student teachers from local colleges. In her spare time, she enjoys hiking, camping, traveling the world, science podcasts, and her 3 dogs. And I don't think she was able to attend this evening, so let's please give her a round of applause. Our next, actually, I need to say, Teachers of the Year, when I recognized you, if you'll join me at the podium, and then when I'm finished giving your intro, you'll receive your award from a board member, and then if you all will line up 6 and 6, we'll do the District Teacher of the Year. We'll recognize all your families for coming to support you, and then you'll go out on the steps for a photo as well. I'm sorry, I neglected to say that. Next up is Helen Tyson Middle School. Miss Dana Essex is their Teacher of the Year. Dana, if you want to come on up. Dana Essex is a special education teacher at Helen Tyson. She is instrumental in transforming her self-contained classroom into a functional space where her students can learn independently and in small group instruction. Her calm demeanor and patience allows her to shape the behavior of her students and ultimately allow them to be more successful in their functional behaviors. Her knowledge of K-12 special education is elite and allows her to move the students that others have not been able to reach. She started a peer helper program with general education students that desperately need a connection. Her school saw success with a particular student that very much needed that connection and found it assisting Miss Essex with her students. It would be easy for her to isolate herself in her classroom, but she pushes for her students to have experiences that other students have. She is also an active participant with the staff and meets any challenge head-on and always operates with a solution-based open mindset. Congratulations, Ms. Essex. Next up, we have Sarah Wilson from Hellstern. Sarah, if you'll join me at the podium. Sarah Wilson is a dedicated educator with 14 years of teaching experience, a graduate of Springdale High School. She has made a significant impact on the local education system. She has taught a variety of math courses from 7th grade math to accelerated algebra 1. Driven by her devotion to personal growth and lifelong learning, Sarah has also earned additional certifications in ESL and her building level administration. She is committed to developing the next generation of leaders by magnifying student voices in the classroom, the school at large, and the community. She has taken the initiative to start 2 student council programs at different buildings, and in addition to organizing school events and fundraisers, Sarah routinely connects her student leaders with building and district administrators to provide feedback and improve the student experience. Congratulations, Sarah Wilson. Next up, we have Sonora Middle School with Jennifer Martins. Come on up. Jennifer Martins is dedicated to the development and enrichment of students in the classroom and beyond. She is proudly representing Sonora Middle School. She is a math teacher, a 6th grade math teacher there. She is currently on the school leadership committee, and she takes initiative by creating and implementing weekly celebrations that all teams now do with their students, recognizing behaviors and characteristics that they would like to highlight in their building. It is obvious that building strong relationships with students is her foundational piece that promotes learning in her classroom. Community and family is important to her through volunteer work at church with children's, youth, and adult ministries. Ms. Martins makes Sonora a better place for all students and staff. Congratulations. Next up, from Central Junior High, we have Gretchen Watt. Gretchen is in her 25th year of teaching choral music at Central Junior High. Since teaching at Central, her choirs have exceeded all-region numbers, placing more in the all-region choir than any other school. Her choirs consistently receive superior ratings for performance and sight readings at assessments. Gretchen is not only a successful music educator, but a busy mother of 5 talented children ranging from 21 years old to twins who are 10 years old. When she is not spending time with her kids teaching or singing, I love this part, she is an avid sewist, Pinterest connoisseur, antiques lover, and all about Southern charm. She loves a good book, a good cup of coffee, and an even better, a girls' night in. She loves singing loud in the car, going to concerts, Broadway shows, and learning all the TikTok dances with her girls. And Gretchen is a colon cancer survivor. Congratulations. All right. Next up, from George Junior High, we have Mr. Jim Tran. Mr. Tran is the East Facilitator at George Junior High School. He has served in this role for the past 2 years. Prior to becoming a junior high teacher, Mr. Tran worked at HAR-BER Elementary in Springdale for 12 years, teaching 3rd and 4th grade. And in 2020, he was voted as HAR-BER Elementary Teacher of the Year. Wanting to pay forward the investment his teachers made in him, his goals and aspirations tie directly to the needs of the diverse population he serves. The cornerstone of his teaching philosophy is exposing his students to new learning experiences. The foundations of his classroom are using the strengths of each student to benefit the learning of all, kindness, and hard work. When not in the classroom or at home, you will find him at a Razorback sporting event. Congratulations, Mr. Tran. Okay, next up from Lakeside Junior High, we have Ashley Costin. Ashley Costin is a National Board Certified Family and Consumer Science teacher at Lakeside Junior High with 10 years of experience in career and technical education. She enjoys helping her students feel at home in her classroom and fostering a collaborative environment where students feel safe and appreciated. She teaches her students important life skills such as servant leadership, public speaking, and entrepreneurship while providing them with the opportunity to practice those skills in classroom projects and in community settings. Her favorite teacher mantra is, "Students don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." Ultimately, she feels that the most important part of her job is to create a place where her students can be themselves and enjoy pushing the boundaries of their learning. Congratulations, Ms. Costin. Okay, next up from Southwest Junior High, we have Ms. Jasmine Carranza. Jasmine Carranza's classroom atmosphere is filled with learning, fun, and a warm feeling of family. She reminds her students on a daily basis that it is okay to make mistakes because we learn from our mistakes. And students feel comfortable learning in her classroom. Her students also feel secure in her class because she is bilingual and from Mexican Salvadorian descent. In 2007, Jasmine earned a bachelor's degree in math, and in 2008, a master's degree in teaching. In 2013, she also received her ESL endorsement for K-12. She's been an Algebra 1 teacher at Southwest Junior High for 15 years, where she has worked with students who have been English language learners, gifted and talented, and/or students with disabilities. Jasmine believes that the key for success is to create meaningful relationships with her students. Congratulations. Next, from Archer Learning Center, we have Mr. Christopher Pollitt. Is Mr. Pollitt here? I didn't see him come in. Okay, he may not have been able to attend. Mr. Pollitt from Archer Learning Center is a passionate educator focused on student engagement through career exploration with the goal of building relationships through mentorship. This comes naturally after 32 years in the corporate sector working in sales, marketing, and entrepreneurial startups. His work to develop trust with students leads to positive mentorship and builds necessary skills to secure career opportunities with local companies. He has developed a network of business professionals in Northwest Arkansas who are willing to come in and share opportunities with students, whether they visit the corporate offices, come in as guest speakers, or offer hands-on learning activities. Mr. Pollitt's path in education began while visiting schools and part of his role with his employer. He volunteered at Elmdale Elementary as a part of his corporate employment in their after-school program, and that led to him beginning to substitute teach. He said being a substitute sealed the deal for him, and then he went back and got his Master of Arts in Teaching from Harding in 2022. So let's give a round of applause for Mr. Pollitt. Next, we have Miss Julie Downham from Don Tyson School of Innovation. Forever rooted in Arkansas, Julie is a Springdale Bulldog and graduate of the University of Arkansas. Her 11-year career out of college entailed a pathway in microbiology, working for George's Poultry and consumer testing labs. When an unpredicted employer move to Chicago occurred, Julie and her husband, Brad, decided that staying in their hometown was the best decision for them and their 3 children. Then Julie began working at Hellstern Middle School, and she also spent 4 years at Arkansas Arts Academy, where she acquired knowledge of arts integration into the classroom. Arts integration is a philosophy and a tool that she now uses as one of the staple elements in her lessons to broaden her students' learning. Julie has since been with DTSOI for 5 years, demonstrating personal and professional growth with student involvement inside and outside the classroom. From mentoring an intern to hosting a parent astronomy night, Julie strives to support her students and community through several avenues of direct involvement. And she says, as Martin Luther King said, the most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Congratulations, Julie. All right, next up, we have Mr. Robert Day from HAR-BER High School. Robert Day began his teaching and coaching career in 1989 at Arkansas Tech University. In 1990, he took his first job at Dover High School, and then later returned to Arkansas Tech University, his alma mater, to teach again. He then joined the staff at Magnolia High School in Magnolia, Arkansas. That was in 1992. In 1997, he accepted a position of head football coach at Magnolia, and he, throughout his career, taught social studies, geography, sociology, psychology, and physical education. During his 20 years at Magnolia, he taught all social studies curriculum, coached a state championship game, 6 semifinal games, won a conference championship and Coach of the Year award, and spoke at coaching clinics around the country. Even as head coach, he remained active in the classroom out of his love for teaching and as a way to develop relationships with all kids, not just students involved in athletics. In the spring of 2013, Robert moved his teaching and coaching career to HAR-BER High School. Last year, after 33 years of coaching, Robert decided to move to the classroom full-time, and he also accepted the lead teacher position for the social studies department at HAR-BER High School, where he continues to lead staff and develop all their students. Thank you, Coach Day. And Miss Whitney Bell from Springdale High School. Whitney Bell is a contemporary painter and high school art instructor at Springdale High School. She graduated from the University of Arkansas in 2009 with a bachelor's degree in studio art. She then decided to become an art educator, and she earned her P12 art certification. Because she has an emphasis in painting and drawing, her technical skills have informed her teaching for students all ages, all backgrounds. She began her teaching career in 2011 at the elementary level. She also, during that time, accepted a part-time instructor position at Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, where she led workshops, summer camps, and after-school programs for children, teens, and adults. After she led some of those teen programs, she decided that she would like to teach high school kids. And so in 2014, she joined the Springdale High School staff, where she's been an art teacher there. She teaches Painting 1, Painting 2, and Art Appreciation. Whitney believes that to be a great art teacher, she must continuously evolve as an artist. She shows her work regularly in group and solo exhibitions at various galleries throughout Northwest Arkansas. And in addition, Whitney is a commissioned artist, and her paintings live in many private residences throughout the country. Congratulations, Whitney. Okay, so as you can see, we have a very, very talented bunch of secondary teachers, and at this time, we would like to recognize the District Teacher of the Year. And the District 2023 Teacher of the Year for Springdale Public Schools is Ms. Jasmine Carranza. While Jasmine is taking pictures, I want to read a quote to you from her principal, Dr. Gladden. Ms. Carranza champions all students. She ensures that they know they belong at school and provides support so they reach their academic potential. She knows what it feels like to be in a new country and behind in academics due to language barrier. It is her passion to make sure every student knows that someone believes in them. She gives up many hours after school to tutor students. She also mentors students who are new to the country and new English language speakers, and she builds resilience by establishing meaningful and lasting relationships with all of her students. One student perfectly summed this up by saying, "Ms. Carranza's room feels safe." Ms. Carranza is also a champion for teachers. She continuously researches best practices, implements them, and reflects on the impact for her students. As she finds strategies that work for our students, she welcomes others from our school and our district into her classroom. She is willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that all students in our district are learning. She truly believes that as an educator, it is our responsibility not just to teach our students, but to advocate for all of our students. And so, congratulations again to Ms. Carranza. So at this time, if you are a family member, friend, spouse, child, neighbor, friend, anybody, to any of these amazing educators, please stand. Thank you so much. What a special evening. And if you all will go out onto the steps with your awards, Mr. Jones will take pictures.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Turn on now.
Tonight, it gives me great pleasure to recognize Mr. Josh Emler as the 22-23 Commissioned School Security Officer of the Year. Mr. Emler currently serves students and families and staff at Parsons Hills, where he exemplifies the CSSO vision and mission and serves all that he serves with pride. Can you come on up here? I want to read a quote of a staff member who nominated Mr. Emler, and I think they said it best. They said, "Mr. Emler has a heart of a helper." I'm going to read that again. Mr. Emler has a heart of a helper. He walks the halls, checks the doors, and is alert at all times. The thing that makes Mr. Emler stand out is his interaction with students, in that he knows their names and always greets them every time he sees them. He offers a kind word, a gentle smile, and reassurance. He works alongside the staff, getting to know them, and treats everyone like they're important. He stands out as someone any school would be lucky to have, but Parsons Hills is so thankful and blessed to have him. We love Mr. Emler. We're so fortunate to have Mr. Emler on the CSSO team. Thank you, Mr. Emler, for all that you do for Springdale Public Schools, students, families, and staff, and congratulations for being named the Springdale School District's Commissioned School Security Officer of the Year.
First ever.
Great work.
Yeah, go ahead.
as a farmer, so he's the real deal. I'm just I play with farms a little bit. But he doesn't like any vegetables.
Nope.
I found that out about a
We
week
make
ago.
good money, but I hate eating them.
So,
Other than, the fried ones, okras. But
My resume, 5 kids,
Congratulations.
yeah. So me and my wife, we've fostered for 14 years. We adopted one of our foster kids last December, so it gave us a total of 5 now. So yeah, we foster special needs only. So it's been a blessing.
Well, we appreciate everything you and all of our CSSOs do.
It's a great team.
Yep.
It really is. So I was honored to get it. There's those are big shoes. There's a lot of guys on the team with a lot of different backgrounds, military, police, all that. And to be able to get the award, I was truly honored.
Congratulations, you're the first one, so
I
that's
know.
good.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Please.
Okay, personnel, I guess that'd be.
Happy to do it. We've had some really good applications for assistant principals that have come up. Anytime you lose an assistant principal or an administrator or even a teacher, it doesn't matter. It's really, really hard to imagine upgrading, improving, any of those kinds of things. But we feel like we've really done a great job. I'm really proud of the principals for their work. I'd like to call up Dr. Paul Greet to introduce Ms. Elise Tucson as his new assistant principal. Great job. If you don't know Ms. Tucson, you're going to get to know her in just a minute.
Well, thank you, Dr. Cleveland and board, for the opportunity to recognize Ms. Tucson. As you know, Brett Unger has left us, and we certainly wish him the very best in the news chapter of his life. When we began the search for an assistant principal, there were big shoes to fill. Some key characteristics of an assistant principal were, servant leadership, the heart of a leader, putting others first, knowledge of instruction, and just the willingness to step in. We had great candidates, and as you know, great people come through HAR-BER High School, as you'll see tonight. So again, we're extremely proud of Ms. Tucson and the potential for her to serve as an outstanding assistant principal. And if it's okay, I'd like to ask her to say a few words to the board.
Hi, for those of you I haven't formally met, I am Elise Tucson. I am thrilled at the opportunity to serve with Dr. Greep and his administration team at HAR-BER High School for the upcoming year. I am sure that many people at this time of the year are ready for a break, and I told my husband, we're not going anywhere. I am taking this very seriously. I'm ready for August to go off without a hitch, so I'm ready to get to work and join the team. Thank you all for the opportunity, but also the responsibility that I'm taking on come July. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Patrick Scott so he can introduce Ms. Cindy Weatherford.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Cleveland, thank you. Board, thank you for continuing to support us. It is my honor to introduce Ms. Weatherford as our new assistant principal. Brittany Hickman, she retired, and she was a longtime Hornet, and she has left some big shoes. But when we started our search, I could echo everything Dr. Greep just said about servant leadership, heart for our students. I told our committee that we were going to have a very deep pool, and we did. We had over 60 applicants. We had a deep pool of administrators that or people that wanted to venture into that administration world. And it just reassured to me that Springdale is still the place to be. We had a lot of applicants from outside the district. We had a lot of applicants from inside the district. I will tell you this, our applicants from inside the district were far better than the applicants from outside of the district. Our teachers are growing. Our district just grows the right kind of educator. And our committee was very impressed with Ms. Weatherford. At the end of the search, it was it was close, but it was really not that close. And she is going to fit right into our culture of hardworking, care for kids, growing kids, and supporting our teachers. And I want to introduce Ms. Cindy Weatherford.
Thank
you. I'm Cindy Weatherford, new to Springdale about 4 years ago, but this is home for us now. So I want to thank Dr. Cleveland, the admin team, and the board. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm super excited to be part of the HTMS family. I've told, kind of echo what Elise said, I told Patrick not too long ago, I said, I'm ready to jump in. I'm super excited. Most people are ready for a break during summer. I'm doing summer school at HAR-BER, but I'm ready. I don't even need a break. Let's just get started and get things going. So I'm super excited to pour into the teachers and the students at HTMS and get to know the community there and really just love on those kids and give them all that I have to offer. So thank you again.
Well, if you don't know, we've got summer school going, Mr. President, and even Ms. Weatherford, I think, participated in that. You have Ms. Fisher and Ms. Fink coming forward to talk to you and give you a small report about summer school and how that's going.
Good evening, Board. I am excited to report that summer school is underway. I think at last count, we think we have maybe close to 80 to 100 summer opportunities for our children happening across kindergarten through 12th grade campuses. We have a sponsored district-sponsored summer program happening right now in the SHS feeder pattern and Bayari. So currently we are serving 420 students on the east side of town, and that will run through this Friday. And then starting next Monday, we will have summer school on the west side of town. So we are looking to probably serve close to 1,000 kids in elementary, middle school summer programs, the district-sponsored programs. In addition to that, starting July 31st through August 4th, we are doing something we've not ever done in Springdale before. We are having a kindergarten jumpstart program for our kindergarten kids with the focus solely being on Tier 1 behaviors. And that's in conjunction with a lot of different things that we're doing to have a different start to kindergarten next year. So we're excited to have a more proactive approach in serving our kindergarten kiddos as they enter school for the first time.
Hello again. So just a super quick report on secondary summer school. Our sites this year for secondary summer school, HAR-BER High School is where we are housing all the high school students. Central Junior High is where we are housing all the junior high students. And then DTSOI has a small program. And then every year we do an academic choice summer school where students can take classes virtually that they may not be able to fit into their academic program during the school day. So for example, if they have multiple electives and they want to go ahead and take a course that's required for graduation in the summer virtually, we allow that opportunity. And so we have 290 students who are doing choice summer school virtually. We have 350 high school students that are reporting to HAR-BER High School. We have 145 junior high students at Central Junior High, and then we have an additional 30 students at Don Tyson School of Innovation that are reporting this summer for some extra learning support. And so that's a total of 815 students. I also want to point out later in the early fall, we'll give you another report to close out the summer where I'll talk about how many credits were earned and recovered. But many of those students, the 300, well, all of them actually, many of the 815 students could be taking more than one course, which is really exciting. We could accumulate a whole lot of credit in secondary this summer, whether it be recovered credit or new credit. And so we're very excited. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the 290 that are doing choice virtual, is there one class that we're seeing more than another, or what's the?
I wouldn't say there's one more than another. I know a lot of students take careers or they take PE, or a lot of students actually take civics, econ. I would say probably civics would be one of our most highly enrolled in courses. Yeah, at the choice level.
What does PE look like virtually?
Well, they use a lot of video. They video themselves doing different types of activities. They use apps to follow their progress. It's creative, but it can be done. there are lots of things you can do with your, if you have a recording device such as Chromebook or phone this year. So, okay, thank you.
Mr. Jones? Well, as you know, Mr. Jones has been doing a real good job getting this whole team. He reached, I'm not going to steal his thunder, but 10 million views apparently is a big deal to communications people, and even to non-communications people, it's a big deal. But Mr. Jones, can you do it in 2 minutes?
I can.
Okay.
I can. Go. And you should definitely not sell yourself short. You're a phenomenal communications person, and we are very thankful for Dr. Cleveland's leadership and vision that he has, and your vision and leadership that you have with the communications office. I hope that whenever you look at these accumulated numbers, I know sometimes big numbers can just kind of, like, what does 4 million digital impressions even mean? But what it really means is we're driving home the Springdale message on multiple platforms, in multiple languages, in multiple places, to multiple different kinds of audiences simultaneously with a synergized message. And I'm very proud of that. I'd like to give a shout out to my team. John Steele Cooper is the Assistant Communication Director, Leslie Orozco, Mary Jordan, Maribel Tapia, Rosanna Anatok, Omar Gonzalez, Luis Alfaro, Dustin Mapes, Sativa Vela. Aaron Andrews is a intern from NWAC this year. Jovita de la Cruz is our secretary, and next year we'll be having a student, Michael Ariola, who will be coming over and working with us as well. And we just have the great privilege of telling the Springdale story in multiple platforms. Just want to give you a couple of highlights real fast. In front of you, you can see the Welcome magazine that we put together. That was a vision of Dr. Cleveland's, and that is hard copy in front of you and then digital on the web as well. So that's something you can kind of look through. A couple of changes has happened due to the last cycle of legislation, so I have to update it, and then we'll be reprinting some new ones that'll have accurate information. But that's the kind of welcome packet we'll be sending all across the region to help people understand that Springdale is a choice destination, that you want to become the part of the Springdale family. We rolled out a new hashtag, Springdale Family, and we rolled out several new web pages, one of which I hope you'll check out, which is the Explore Springdale web page. Really hope you'll check that out and provide some feedback. And mostly, I think, I just always want you to know that we're open door. We want to hear your thoughts, your creativity. We really want you to know that we strive to have multiple platforms, to have as much fun as we possibly can, to be as creative as we possibly can, and to get the message out. In this day and age where we are right now, we know that the first line of community engagement is helping people see and know and feel what it's like to be part of the Springdale family, and our team is committed to that every day. Was that 2 minutes?
Sure, it was over, but it was good.
Ish? Ish?
You still like your job?
I love it. It's a great place to be. Never been a better time to be in Springdale schools than right now.
I have to brag on Trent just a minute. All of you know that I listen to Kerm radio in the morning, come to school every day. Trent did his after the board meeting report one time, and Colonel Womack, I won't say made fun of him, but he was laughing while he was talking about it.
We had a little fun.
And saying he could sell ice to an Eskimo and all that kind of stuff. And so I came back to the school, called Trent, and said, Trent, we're going to have to talk. You can't just go on and on and on the radio. He's like, okay, I'll try to slow it down. A couple of months later, maybe 6 months, it could be a year, Colonel Womack gave him a tremendous compliment. He said, on air, people need to take notice of Trent Jones in Springdale schools. Their communication department's doing an outstanding job. Trent does it like everyone should do it. And so that's a big deal coming from what I consider a giant in the industry. So Trent, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're a really good leader. We're proud of your growth.
Thank you. I really appreciate you all, and that was a good segue for the last thing. I just want to publicly say thank you to Mr. Hayes for helping me over the last 10 years to grow administratively. I will really miss him for his wisdom and guidance, patience, kindness. I know everybody else is probably going to be making fun of him tonight, and he probably earns it. But I really appreciate him for everything that you've done and helping grow the communications office. So thank you, Mr. Hayes, and Godspeed. Thank you all.
Good job.
Hello again. I'm here tonight to talk to you about a rezoning proposal. We have two goals with this rezoning proposal. Number one is we want to support the families that live in the northern part of Knapp's attendance area by rezoning to Bayari to give them closer access to their school. And number two, support the Bayari families by rezoning them to the J.O. Kelly Middle School feeder pattern, giving them closer access to their schools. And just a little bit of history, right there in the middle of that circle that you see on your screen, at the very top north part of that circle is Bayari Elementary School. And Bayari Elementary School travels all the way across town to Helen Tyson Middle School, Southwest Junior High, and Har-BER High School to attend schools, and that's a hardship for those families. I've had a couple of parent-focused meetings and talked to about 30 to 35 families to hear their voices and their thoughts of rezoning, and unanimously, this was something that the families wanted. And I know that Mrs. Mulliken, as well as Miss Lindley and Mr. Scott from the feeder patterns that these kids feed into, have also expressed that it is very difficult for them, and Miss Mulliken has had numerous conversations with the families. So that is the first proposal. Number two, Knapp Elementary School is kind of in the middle of that circle, and it's the very long finger-like school that snakes up to the northern part of that circle. And those families too have a very far distance to go to get to their school, and they would like to be zoned closer to Bayari Elementary School. I asked Miss Hayter to contact those families, and her team have been contacting them, and the majority of the families are in support of rezoning closer to a school that they live by. Do you have any questions?
Do we need to make two action on two separate proposals, or can we put?
I think you can do it together.
Do it together?
Ms. Clay said you could do it together.
As you know, we've had a lot of discussion about this over the last several months. And, it's interesting that as we are moving forward, balancing schools is important. Numbers are important, but we also want to make sure that our parents are not subjected to any more difficulties than they already are. So that travel distance is pretty far. And so listening to the parents of Bayari and understanding that, that's where this recommendation has come from. Also, just for anyone out there or listening online, part of the goal in our district is to make sure every student is served at the highest level, right? And so looking forward, as we begin taking shape with all of our high schools and junior highs, especially having their own personality, and as the legislature opens up school choice even further, this provides us the opportunity really to not have as many requirements on zones at the high school level. So I think over time, Bayari students, even though the zone had been Har-BER and now it will eventually be SHS, kids can choose all of those schools over time as we continue to develop our plan. So anyway, I was apprehensive about that originally, and now I see that, the 50 to 60 students at Bayari, they're going to have opportunities to do all kinds of things in the future. So if anyone's worried about that.
All right, board, is there any other questions or any other discussion about this?
And my understanding is if the students that this will impact, like for this next school year, if they want to continue in the feeder pattern they're in prior to today, they can still do that.
That's correct. We will provide transportation, I think, for up to 2 years to get them through the feeder pattern. That's correct. And fifth grade students at Knapp Elementary are guaranteed to be able to stay there. If they're completing or will be entering into the fifth grade, they will not be forced out if parents choose that.
That's my only question.
Any other questions? Board?
Yeah.
If not, I would entertain a motion. If one would like to provide one.
I'll make a motion to approve the rezoning request for Bayari Elementary and Knapp Elementary as presented.
Okay. So we have a motion by Mr. Emerson and a second by Mr. Bell to approve the rezoning for Knapp as well as Bayari. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? There you go.
Thank you.
We're gonna fight over who gets to get in the clock.
The clock.
You don't care.
You going to the
Oh, yeah.
podium?
We all recognize him right there.
He never goes to the podium.
I don't, but Mr. Hayes is pretty special to me. So I'm going to try to do this without tearing up or anything. Mr. Hayes, although Dr. Rollins hired me, Mr. Hayes, a little over 10 years ago, was instrumental in making sure that I felt welcome. After I interviewed, didn't even know it was an interview, Mr. Hayes calls me and says, do you remember this? Calls me and says, hey, it's not as bad as you think and all of that. You need to think about this, and really encouraged me to come. So best decision of my life outside of my family and anything. I do think Mr. Hayes retiring is the worst decision of his life. But anyway, I just want to publicly thank him, not only for his incredible work and his professionalism, his integrity and his kindness, but I want to thank him for being our friend. He legitimately carries a lot of weight with me personally and with this district, although there was someone who did email him and said, Mr. Hayes, I don't know what you do or even if you're any good at it, but we do enjoy your funny emails and we'll miss you. I do know what he does.
That means a lot.
That's true. That's a true story, right? I do know what he does, and quite frankly, we take him for granted. And although Ms. Hopkins is fantastic and will absolutely take the district forward in an exceptional way, losing him is like pulling a piece of an important part of our fabric out. And I just want him to know personally, he'll always be part of this fabric, always be part of this family, because he helped build it and he's helped carry it forward. And although I would really like to tell funny stories about him, I'm not going to do that. I have many. I'm just hopeful that when he does leave, that he doesn't forget how to call, how to come by, how to do all of those things that sometimes people do, because this is too important a place and he's too important in the foundation of what we're building and what we're moving forward. So, Mr. Hayes, thank you. I do love you. You're like a brother. We fight a little bit like brothers do, but at the same time, if anybody tries to pick on you, I'm right there. Fair enough? Would you like to come to the podium and get your clock from...
Baseball, so we can throw it. Yeah, that's
I'll keep it in here longer, aren't I? That's good.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Now do your work, Mr. Hayes.
I know. I have work to do for you tonight, Board. I think I'll go through my things first. How about that? Then we'll talk for a moment. Let me log back in here. Oh, well, my password is incorrect.
We're going to cut you off. You're out of here.
Okay.
We better like these numbers. Just saying.
Mr. Hutchinson, if you could do me a favor, the other thing that we need to do after each board election is designate a dispersing officer of the district. If y'all recall, we started doing that last year, and the reason we like to do that is so that as the secretary treasurer changes, we don't have to get new signature cards on the bank and everything. So the law allows us to appoint one of you as the dispersing officer. Currently, that is Mr. Emerson, and if the board is open to...
Our motion earlier where we said just reappoint all the officers as...
Well, I don't know. Do you
Or should
think
we
it is?
specifically do another motion for dispersing officer?
Well-
That makes you feel better?
I wasn't sure. I
We'll-
just
we'll
want
do
to
it.
make
Just-
sure it gets in the minutes.
Do it again? Okay.
I make
Okay.
a motion that we leave Nick Emerson
Whoa,
as the
we're
dispersing
not
officer.
discussing this?
Nope. You're going to get paid the same. We're going to double your pay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Who seconded? Okay. We have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Oldby to keep Nick Emerson as our dispersing officer at the same salary.
For 5 years.
Yep.
5 years.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody against that? If you're against it, you are going to be the dispersing officer.
Thank you
Okay.
for doing that. It is, two different parts of statute, so, that just covers this for sure. Let's talk about the May financials for a moment. The way I've talked to you about this before, the way our revenue is collected, a lot of people pay their taxes when the bills come out in the fall, and so we get a large settlement in November. And then when the new bills go out, let me back up. When the bills come out in the spring, the mortgage companies who escrow property tax payments, they go ahead and submit those payments immediately because by law they have to. They only have so many days in order to get that done. So we get big tax settlements in the spring, and then our other big tax settlement is in November when the due date is for those that choose to wait until they're actually due. Well, so May is one of the months that we get a huge settlement, and that is exactly what happened to us for this month. We received approximately $28 million. And when you put it in perspective, that's out of 84 million. So we go all year long, starting in July, we're going all the way. We're in the 11th month before we know if we're going to hit our budget or not for the year. So it is nerve-wracking. We're wondering, is the money going to come in? Is the money going to come in? So this settlement this month ended up being about 35% of our budget for revenue. And it puts us at, I think it was $28,000 over budget. So we have met our budget, and so then whatever comes in June will then be beyond our budget on the revenue side. Last year was around $3 million. I don't know who all paid their taxes, so we'll see, but I anticipate it being somewhere in that neighborhood. So I say all that to say, we've met our budget, it's going to exceed on our revenue, so that's a great thing. And you can see, I think it reflects that we're slightly ahead of last year overall. And then on our expenditure side, I keep looking at especially that operating fund expenditure and trying to get myself all worked up that we're about 3 percentage points ahead of where we were this time last year. I really do think part of that is the impact of COVID funding, that we are no longer charging COVID leave and things like that. I'm not overly concerned about it. We're still going to be within budget unless things go haywire, which they will not during the month of June. So we're going to end up in good shape. I feel good about it. So the only other thing to mention this month is we did make our final debt payment. It's reflected on there of about $9.3 million. We make the first payment in November, the second one in May. That kind of coincides with our big tax settlements, so that works out good for us. And so anyway, I'll be happy to answer all the questions.
Nick said something about 50 check numbers he wanted to go through.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Yeah. I don't know if Stacy's prepared tonight to answer all those or not.
Very, very right. There you go. Board, anybody? Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 2023 financial statement.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Emerson, a second by Mrs. Cook to approve the May 2023 financial statements as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Good job.
The next item that I have for you, board, is we have the opportunity to purchase property located at 406 North Kansas. As you all know, we have been working on obtaining the property that I'm not good at saying it's the north or the south or whatever. It's behind the scoreboard on the Springdale High football stadium, that property across the street. That's what we've been working on. And purchasing this piece right here will square up the property on that block that we have. We don't have the entire block, but what we do have will square it off. Did I say that correctly, Dr.
Yes.
Cleveland? So we have the opportunity to purchase it, and we'd like board approval to do so.
I'd like to say I think this was
Brothers in here?
They're over there. They're hiding back here.
Yes, I want to publicly thank Ms. Brothers for helping negotiate all of this. And she's actually doing this, just kind of taking it for the team. She's not accepting any fees on this, so I want to thank you, Ms. Brothers, for that. And it was a hard negotiation, from what I understand, a lot of back and forth.
Does anybody have any questions about the property or anything to do with the property?
Purchase price?
Dr. Cleveland, do you have that number off the top of your
I
head?
believe that's 203, Ms. 207,300. 207,300, that's 207,300. It's about in line with what we've been doing with the others, but hopefully we will not have any
Mr.
additional.
Taylor did quite well.
He did real well. He did not want to sell, but we got it done.
Well, I like having the squared off piece of land for hopefully some future really cool stuff.
We're going to try to really spread the footprint of Springdale High School a little further. Springdale High School has been in a really small footprint over time. In fact, our athletic facilities barely fit. And now that we have additional space, it could provide additional opportunity for us, maybe even a field house or anything else, expose or expand our offerings in our CTE area. So there's another facility that we may be discussing in the future over the next 30 to 60 days that is also adjacent to Springdale High School, but not on that end of the school. So it's just too small of a footprint right now.
So there would be, if we put a new facility on the north end of the football field, there would be a row of houses on the north side of the facility, between the facility and Huntsville?
Yes.
Right? Okay.
There's a concrete ditch, for the lack of a better word.
Culvert thing, yeah.
And that would pretty much be the divider. I think there are a couple of houses there, but we would have plenty of space to do what we forecast to do in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. And there's those apartments on the west side of the property. So, but if any facilities are built, we'd shut that road down and.
Yes, the city would work for us, or work with us to prepare that.
All right, board, we need a motion to move forward on that if you feel like that's a good thing to do.
I'm making a motion that we approve the purchase of property on Kansas Street.
We have a motion by Mrs. Cook and a second by Mrs. Creek to purchase the property at 406 North Kansas Street. Board, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed to this? Perfect.
Board, the next item that I have for you this evening is to appoint Stacy Hopkins as district treasurer. This would take my place in that role, and then to have her as an authorized signatory on district bank accounts. As we've already discussed, it is a requirement to have a board member's signature on our checks, and so that is filled by Mr. Emerson. Dr. Cleveland is also on the checks, and then this would be Ms. Hopkins in place of my name.
So if we don't approve this, does that mean you?
He stays.
I don't know what happens.
I don't know what happens, he says. I'm good, anybody? Questions?
I make a motion that we appoint Stacy Hopkins as our treasurer and add her as a signer to our bank accounts, the district bank accounts.
Greater.
All right, we have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Emerson to add Stacy Hopkins as our district treasurer and authorized signer on our bank accounts. Board, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed to that? Batting 1,000.
Ms. Hopkins is going to do a great job for you all. You're going to be saying Kelly who in a couple of months, if not before. Well, as you all know, I love to laugh and make jokes, right? I think that being serious all the time is seriously overrated.
How long did it take you to find that?
But I do want to take this opportunity to thank you, the members of the school board, for all the support that you've shown me throughout my 14 years here. I appreciate the confidence and trust in my abilities that you've shown me time and time again. I know that each of you love this district and you love serving the students and you have their best interests at heart. And so I thank you for all the support you've given me. I would also like to express my appreciation to the district admin team and the business office staff. I could not have asked to have worked with a greater bunch of individuals. They are dedicated to the work each and every day. It's been my privilege to work alongside them. And then finally, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Cleveland. Dr. Cleveland's confidence in my abilities by naming me to be his deputy superintendent 3 years ago has been the pinnacle of my working career. It has been my deepest privilege to work alongside him to serve the students, families, and staff members of the Springdale School District. To him, I will be forever grateful. Mr. White.
Hello, board, Dr. Cleveland. So I've got some updated photos on all of our construction projects. So Springdale High, they're moving right along with all the construction. They're getting a lot of the windows in. They've actually started, since I took these photos, on the main lobby, so that they'll finish that block up this week, and then that glass can go in. This is the education wings. They got the second floor CMUs all done, so they'll start setting all the steel structure and getting the roof on that portion. There's the inside. We poured the floor, and this is in the main arena. They've got all the precast bleachers in. So, I mean, most of the work in there is done until we get the air conditioning in place, so we can start laying the floor and then doing all the finishes. And this is just one of the hallways. They've got a lot of the mechanical in. And on this, since it's out of CMU, really they'll block fill this and paint it, and that's our finished product. So it'll start going pretty quick. On that one, we have had some delays on some equipment. So at Springdale High, the two big HVAC units that run the gym were supposed to be here already, and they've got pushed back till the end of November. So we have everything else on site other than these two units, and it's because they're the size of the unit and they're kind of a specialty unit. They've got delayed. So right now, our completion date is still February 5th. We're still looking at that date. I don't think this will push it. We've got temporary heating and cooling in that area. So I talked to Flintco, and he thinks we'll stay on track. And I've been in communication with the company that's providing the units for the subcontractor. So, I mean, we're doing everything we can to keep on track.
What's the local sub name?
Harrison Energy. So I've been in contact with Jim Bradford, getting updates. I mean, we looked at other options, maybe going with smaller size units, but really we're too far in the construction phase to change the structure of that gym. So really, the only option we have is just to wait. But right now, I think we're still going to make the deadline as long as they ship out in November. And they could get here earlier. I mean, they're working to get them here as quick as they can.
Mr. White, if they do get here earlier, we talked about that date being Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any hope for that?
Yeah. I talked to Chad at Flintco, and I mean, he still thinks there's a chance of getting it. Once we get into the winter, we'll be able to manage the humidity a lot better and stuff with our temporary heating and cooling. So, we've just we're going to have to test the concrete and then the humidity in the air. Once we hit those certain levels, we can start laying that floor. Once we lay the floor, then we can go ahead and get the retractable bleachers. We'll go in over that wood. All the finished goals, everything overhead will finish after the wood floor. So really we need that heating and cooling to get here to move forward in the gym area. Now, they're still on track with everything else. Okay, at Central, that is actually facing Gutenson. That's the new lobby and entrance to Central. And this photo, I mean, it just shows they've got pretty much most of the metal is up, but the yellow boards, so they're bringing the metal studs and the boards in sections. They're building them off-site, bringing them in, and then setting them. So they've made a lot more progress since I took these on Thursday. So it's picking up the pace. The west side's pretty much all decked on the exterior. So this is the interior on the first floor. So they have to, once they get all this in, they'll put a fireproof spray on the metal, and then they'll actually paint. So this is a set of the learning stairs that's in there's a multi-purpose room that looks south. So the learning stairs are going in. A lot of the mechanicals are going in. This is the auxiliary gym. They've got it attached to the main gym, and they've got that dried in. And then it's Central. So we've got So back at Central, our schedule has changed at Central. We're running into some issues there. We're having to get some temporary MDP panels, main electrical panels in to feed phase 1 so we can go ahead and move everybody into it to start phase 2. Because a lot of our permanent fixed MDP panels won't be here in time. So we're working on that. So phase 1 completion is actually March 15th of 24 when we get phase 1. Then we can roll right into phase 2, and then that will finish out in January of 25 for phase 2. And so we're just having to work around a few issues that show up on these jobs, but those were the two big schedule changes that we've had so far. Southwest, they've got a lot of the brick on. This is the main entrance, and this picture really doesn't do it justice, how much bigger this is than the other building. That's the back side toward Shiloh, and actually that has a lot of the brick on it now since I took these photos. This is the inside looking at, they call it the PAC area, but it's right off the cafeteria. There'll be a little stage, and then it has those learning stairs. Part of them are concrete, and then below it will have retractable bleachers that they can pull out if they want to sit on them, or they can push them back in, and they can use it as dining area. And then this is the media center that sits pretty much in the middle of that building. So Southwest, it's moving along really well. We should get the CO of O on that June 30th of 24. And then once we get that, then we'll demo down the existing building and then start the parking lot and everything that goes in the front where that's at. And then we should complete that in November. And then we did get the field house. I didn't put any photos of it, but we got that turned over to us on June 5th. So we've got lockers in there. Coaches are starting to use it. George Elementary, we started this the Saturday after school got out. This is actually the front of George. We took all that off, and then they've started putting in the red dirt for the footings and everything on this. This is the office at George. So we gutted that area and are getting ready for all the sprinkler systems to go in. This is down the halls. So we will add sprinkler systems to that whole building this summer. Get them stubbed out in the classrooms, and then next summer we'll actually finish out the classrooms, and then we'll activate the sprinkler system.
So when we built that building, it did not require a sprinkler system?
No, it did not.
Okay.
So Harp Elementary was our first elementary that it required sprinkler systems.
You remember what year that was?
2002. Opened in 2002.
Before 2002, schools were not required to have sprinkler systems.
Correct. Young Elementary, no sprinkler.
That's surprising.
So, this is at George Elementary. They've got all the concrete out. They're getting ready to start putting footings in there. I'm doing some work in the kitchen. We've got to move some of the freezer and cooler units to get out of the way for the footings to happen. Okay, and then the hail damage that we had, we're starting those roof repairs. So this summer, our plan is to do Hellstern, Young, Turnbow, the ECC building, the admin, Sonora Middle School, Shaw Elementary, and Monitor Elementary. And then we'll do a few buildings throughout the school year, and then next summer we'll finish out. There were 18 total buildings. And we're trying to get the approval with insurance to do Springdale High School at the same time. Try to get it done over this summer, but we're not quite finalized on Southwest or Springdale High.
The 18 buildings that we're doing, are they complete roof redos? Or are they repairs or a combination?
It's a combination, and most of it is the metal standing seam roof, our total replacements. There are some modified bitumen roofs and a couple TPO roofs that took damage. A few awnings, greenhouse at Springdale High needs some panels. So it's just a little bit of everything. So we're working on that to try to get that done. Do you guys have any questions for me?
You got your plate full, don't you?
It's pretty full.
Thanks.
All right, appreciate it.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Cleveland. My name is Valerie Hanna, and I am representing Springdale Education Association and also a teacher here in the district. Since we last met, I was actually selected to move from the secretarial position to the president for next year, so I'm excited to serve SEA in that capacity. So the last 2 weeks, well, week and a half, because we're only midway through this one, I have actually gotten to participate in one of the summer camps. This one is actually in collaboration with UAMS, the Pathways Academy, and I am beyond excited of what we've done with the kids this week and last. They have given us the ability to do, it's mostly STEM type things, so we have science, we have innovation, research, coding from kindergarten all the way through 5th grade. Some of the kids made prosthetic legs the other day. Tomorrow, I believe, in one of the classes, they're going to be figuring out how to make a working pair of lungs with little balloons, and you pull on the diaphragm and it actually makes them expand. So it's been awesome, and doing coding with the kids. You know, they think it sounds like it's something so hard, but it's really been easy to show them those first steps, so to get them excited. And then today we got to go to the University of Arkansas to their STEM lab and do a project there as a field trip. So it's been, I've been really pleased that I've gotten to participate in that camp this year. Also, hence the t-shirt, because I came straight from there to here. So, also, super excited for Kindergarten Jumpstart. When they came out with that, and don't take this in any certain way, when they came out and said, hey, we're thinking about doing this, my whole team was like, we're in. And when I say don't think about it in any certain way, because then they said, and we'll also pay you. And I went, we're doubly in then. But the idea of getting kindergartners kind of prepped and ready, even if we only have half the kids show up, to have kids that can model for others, I think it's going to make a huge difference in their start to school. So very excited for that. Now, as a organization, we definitely took a big hit. Losing our access to payroll deduction for our dues. And everything that has happened with the State Department definitely feels like this was another attack on teachers. And it kind of demonstrates the lack of care that the state seems to have for our educators right now. which, makes me, again, just like I said last month, it makes me feel truly blessed that I work in a district where not only do I feel appreciated, but I feel safe. So hopefully, things are forever changing in our little bubble. So hopefully things will get better. Hopefully we will still thrive as an association, and, for the state too, and just in general. But that's where that's at. But otherwise, camp's great. Jumpstart's great. The other stuff, but anyway.
You still smile.
Yeah, I'm still smiling. This is my happy face. Yeah, but thank you.
Thanks for being here. Nobody signed up to talk, did they? Okay, good. Do we have anything else?
Just on the miscellaneous?
Yes.
I've been elected, nominated, I don't know, I think elected to represent the state. There's two of us, two superintendents, to be on the executive committee for the AASA. And there is an executive meeting the week of our board meeting in July. So if the board would consider moving the school board meeting to July the 6th, which is a Thursday after the 4th, you don't have to have a meeting with me here, but I like to be here if it's possible, and it would be okay with your schedule to move the regularly scheduled meeting to July the 6th, which is a Thursday. I don't expect there to be a huge agenda in July anyway. It's typically small, but if the board would consider that, it would certainly be a blessing to me. I would appreciate that.
As long as at least 4 of us are here, we're in good shape. So we got to have a majority. So is that, I know your situation. Debbie's good. You're good. You're good. Ben's good.
Fantastic.
Okay. So we should have a majority here. So let's, I guess, plan for that.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We'll change it on our website.
Anything
Is
else?
Dr. Smith going to send us a meeting invite?
I bet it'll probably be there by the time we get home tonight.
That's a great idea.
It'll be here before we walk out of the room.
Okay, with that, meeting adjourned. Thanks for being here tonight. Oh, there's tacos upstairs, guys.